All right, welcome back to another video. In the last video, we spent some time getting districts from the backend, adding them to our form, and then submitting our school form with a name, a district, and a category. To start this video, we are going to grab those new fields, the category and the district, and we're going to display them in the table so we have a bit more data here. And with that, we're going to run into an issue with our serializers, which we will solve promptly. So to start, just as a reminder, school form here, you can add a name, you can select a category such as elementary, and then you can have a district, which are pulled from the back end. You click create, it comes back here and our new schools in the list. Now let's get the schools list to show more data than we are currently seeing. So this schools list here, it is an endpoint that we have, well, we're getting the data from an endpoint that we have, where each school has a name, a category, and a district. So if we just go to our table and we just add those columns, school table here, and data index. So let's say we have a category. What am I missing here? Our schools have a name. Okay, now they're also going to have a district string and a category, both required fields, so they're both going to be there. Add another column, add district. When we render this table, the columns, okay, they're coming from there. The data source is schools. We should just be able to do, I don't understand why I don't have to do text.name there. So I clearly didn't understand how this table was working when we first grabbed it. Well, let's see what happens if we just do the dot notation on these. Assuming text isn't text, it's actually a school. All right, didn't work at all. Good to know. So we need to figure out what this text thing is. If we remove these, I wonder if it's pointed from that data index. There it is, okay. So data index is this. So I think it's pulling from these properties, so we would change this to like district 2. I bet you this breaks. Yeah, I can't find that value. Cool. Okay, so we've got new columns, but you might notice the category is the 4-letter character that we store in the database, and the district is the ID, which are neither things that make any sense to the user really. So we want to get the actual elementary school display here and the name of the district. To do that, we need to go back to our serializer. And when we get schools, we actually, so by default district is an ID, we actually need district to be a whole serializer because we might want all of the properties. So if we move this above, this will make, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, come on, I might need a read only in here, but we'll figure it out. This will take the district field on the school model and serialize it with the serializer rather than just using its default, which was that ID. So let's do a refresh. Okay, found object with keys. Right. So if we go back to our types, district is no longer a string, it's actually a district. So we have to define our types up here. Types are sort of like you're gonna have a lot of commonalities between your serializers and your types for sure. So let's get a refresh on that. Okay, now it's trying to render it, I believe, right here. So if we do text.code, let's see what happens. Awesome. That was pretty simple. All right, so we can rename these variables too to like what they actually are. That feels a lot better. And let's use the name instead of the code for the district. There we are. Now for category, what's the best way to do this? I think we know category is a constant, so perhaps we can use our use selector and we can just pass category into the middle school categories and get the display value. The alternative is to do it on the back end, but I mean the data is fine, so I think it makes sense that the front end controls the display value for whatever it wants to do. So what we need is we need this use selector in our school table as well, right here. Yeah, you can see a bunch of things just are not defined. We're going to need use selector as well, which is from here. Perfect. And is there a way for me to use this up here? That's what I really want to do, right? Something like that. Sorry, I keep turning around. My dog's grumpy right now. So, all right. I wonder what happens. I mean, okay, let's just, I don't know why this const would be outside the component. So let's just put it inside the component and then it will have access to this. Okay, element implicitly has any type because expression type any can't be used to index type outlook. So category is a string. And is there, do we need to find a type on this? What is the type on that? Do I define a type on the user back here? Do I define a type on the store? It's an object, yeah. We can also just like put this type here for fun. It's weird, there's gotta be a way to say like, yeah, I'm just surprised there's not a type that's like, allows you to, you can probably define what is in your object. I just might not have because it feels like overkill. Like this constant state here. This could be more than an object. We could explicitly define what's in this object, but that seems so excessive. Like it could be a high school categories, like type, and in here, like you'd have a lm of type string. But it's not really yeah, I don't know. Let's just go with any. Leave the first any in the code. I might come back to it. But that should work. Let's see. There we go. So we're getting the display value from the constants by passing in the key for those constants. But one thing you may have thought about or noticed is now if we go back to this form and we try and do this, district is a serialized value. So when we try and click create, if we go into our network tab, my browser's messing up. There we go. If we try and click create on this, we're going to get a 400 because it's going to say something like invalid data expected a dictionary but got an int, and that's because the district we're passing in is the ID of the district we're using, but now the serializer is expecting a whole object. So in the past, and like a way I feel quite comfortable using, you can say the district is read-only, true, and you can have a district ID field, which is a serializers.integer field. And you can use district ID whenever you want to create, and then district when you're getting the read value back. And Django just implicitly knows that underscore ID will be used for the district as well. So if we go back to our school form, which is right here, and on that submit, we actually send underscore district ID. Remember, this name field is used to define the format of the data. We'll send that instead. So if we go back, let's see if this works. Click create, and there we are. So we're sending district underscore ID, which is fine because that's what our serializer expects. And then on the response, we get that read-only field, which is the serialized district. Okay, that's pretty good. I think next, maybe we'll work on pagination. So let's see, how is this pagination component set up so far? So if we go to our table, wait. Where's it getting the, is it just coming from ant-d? Let's see. Pagination settings. So we got our data. Oh, that's just where the pagination is. It's not the size of the pages. Okay. Can I see the props on the, let's see. API pagination properties. Okay, that's not helpful. Is there like page size? I'm not seeing where that, oh. Oh, here's sort of an example maybe. Let's see what shows us anything here. How does the table know that we have more pages of data? There's got to be a way to like set the number of pages. I think there's the columns. All right, yeah, if we go back to this example, they're just like, it's all the same rows, so they're just like pushing 100 onto it. But how does the table understand what pagination component to use? That makes no sense. Oh, there's a pagination. Configure pagination. You can ref table page config or full pagination document. Hide it. Okay. Oh, did I grab it from here? Might have. Oh, okay. I think I'm following. Okay, I lost it. Sorry, they had an example, so now I'm like going back through it. Table pagination settings. Let's just see what they do here. Yeah, pagination just says position. Okay. But what they were saying is there's a whole config for pagination. Pagination, where are you? Where are thou? Here we are. So if we open this, and we go to this API, these are all the properties on pagination. So I believe we can go to our table and we can pass in a pagination value, which is going to be an object. And we can say, oops. We don't say oops, we say something else. And there's so many options here. So let's do page size and show total. Okay, page size and total. That should give us more pages. And then page size 20, total like 400. So it's going to be tons of pages of data, right? There we go. Okay, and then when we click this, nothing's happening, but that is when you would fetch the next page of data. Which is, they have a lot of props. It's actually crazy. Current page number, so I'm only getting on change for sure. Default page size, default current, disabled. Whether to hide it or not on a single page. Show title. Simple mode. I wonder what simple mode is. We can take a look at that. So let's try simple and on change. I think that's all we need for now. So on change. And we'll define that method right here. Set table page. We're just going to do nothing for now. And let's try simple or true and just see what it gives us. Returns nothing indeed. Okay. Oh, you have to type it. No, I don't really like that. You can start to set up this pagination component how you want. But this, like at this point, there's a lot of preferences you can have if you want to branch off and do your own thing. So feel free to if you want. I have no idea what is being passed in here, so let's just console log what we get when we click a new page. 4. You get the page, look at that. Okay. Schools. Okay, so schools is actually coming from the parent component because we wanted schools to be stored there. So if you go to the form, which actually I might change right now. So when you go to the create form, you still have the list of schools like on the parent, so that you don't need to refetch them. But with only like 20 items in a row in a table, and with the performance of this, I think it's probably just simpler if we keep the schools on the school table and we do fetch it again after. Maybe not. Okay, let's keep it this way. But we're going to need to pass a method down to the school table that says like get schools or get, let's say school page to be explicit that we're requesting the page. And this is going to be a page, and the method is going to return nothing. And then that is when we would call get school page. And if we go back here, now we actually need to pass in that prop. Which does not exist up here, so let's define that. Promise void, is that the syntax? Cool. And it's going to look a little bit like this. Except, my syntax is wrong there. Except now we are going to have offset equals the page that we're getting in times the size of the page. So offset is actually the number of rows. Offset isn't the page. You can set it up differently, but that's how our Django is currently set up. Our Django REST framework set up. So it's page times the size of the page, which right now we're doing 20. And the limit is going to be the page, or 20 as well. So we're only going to get 20 rows, and it's going to be offset. There we go. That should be fixed. There we go. All right, let's see what happens. Let's try refresh. Still doesn't like it, eh? Oh, here. A void function. Okay. So this has to be a function that returns void. Which means this function has to return void. Can I do like void get school page? Like that? Because we're trying to do like what we do up here, where we explicitly say explicitly mark it as void. So we're doing an on change. This is our error. And we don't need to wait for this response, right? I mean, what we could do. I put that there, does it complain? We could make this function take an offset and a limit if we wanted to, and then we can put this in here. And we wouldn't need a limit because we do that. Page would be a number. That would be 1. And then we wouldn't need this, but now we could do void get schools with the page, right? And let's just get rid of this. All right, let's see this here, because this one's a little bit different. Because this function needs to return void to be passed in here. I'm just curious if what happens if I do that? Oh, this doesn't have to be asynchronous. Now that can be void, and now that can be gone. There we go. Because this is the asynchronous method. Okay. So now if we refresh, we get a few errors, but let's close that. And if we click 2, let's see what the request looks like. Okay, did something. So you can see we are making these requests with offset and limit attached. I think we're running into, oops. I think it's catch. I wonder if we actually even have offset and limit set up. Let's double check that. I thought we did, but okay, I don't think we do. So we actually need to go tell Django how we're going to do offsets and stuff. So Django REST framework pagination. So by default, we can do limit offset pagination with a default page size as well. And what we might want to do actually, no, we can do limit offset, that's fine. And we just throw that in here into the REST framework settings. Default page size, let's go back to 20. And now if we make a request, it should actually kind of catch those values and get into the page. Just kidding. Quick refresh. Yeah, still broken. I know what's happening. So as soon as you add pagination, whenever you make a request, like this initial get schools, get page 1, the response is now response.data.results because there's a response.data.total as well. Nice. If we look at our network request, you can see we're getting nothing, and I think it's because we have that offset. Because page 1 is actually offset 0, so here we could say offset equals page 1 is 1. And you might want to like error check that to make sure you're not getting like negative numbers, but that's why we're not getting our data. Okay, and now maybe we want, instead of saying we have 20 pages, let's actually tell the table how many pages of data we do have. So you can see here page size 20 and total equals 400. That total can actually come from, you could have a, well, so that the value is response.data.total, I believe. And we need to get this value down into the table, which is another reason where I'm like, why is this parent component managing the data rather than just letting the schools do it, because it is pretty fast. But for now, whatever. So total, I'm just going to say total. The type is number. By default, it's going to be 0. And then we can pass total into our table. And it's saying the type doesn't exist on school table, and that's because it doesn't. So now we have total, which is a Boolean. And we'll get that as a prop, and then we can just pass it here. So now, open my settings by accident. Type Boolean is not assignable to type number. Did I say it was a Boolean? I did. This is a number. There we are. So now we have one page of data, and it's not saying we have any more. To test that real quick, we can say our page size is maybe like 3 pieces of data. So we'll see 3, and then we can go to the next page, which fails to get some data. Because why? Okay, this one's redirecting it. Oh, probably because this page size here needs to match the actual request. We're still offsetting by 20. Now we can go back here, click refresh. Duh, duh. Why are we? I don't understand how that just worked because it's response.total.count, not total. So for some reason, it was just like giving us a random number of pages. There we go. And I also have no idea why the third page. Am I misunderstanding limit and offset pagination? Limit is how many will return, and offset is how much the offset is. Might need a slash there. Offset 6, limit 3 returns 4 rows. And this one returns. Why is it returning 10 each time? And the limit is 3. I think it's doing something weird. Why is it appending a slash? Oh, wait, did we do that somewhere? Like maybe in our Axios interceptor? Oh, yeah, we did. Let's get rid of this because it was actually a stupid idea. And we should fix it properly. There we go. Yeah, that appending slash was like, it was almost like trying to, I don't know what it was trying to do. It just like wasn't reading offset and limit, or it was only reading part of it or something. But yeah, so that works like nice. And our district fetch is failing now. So if we go to create school, there's a districts request. Oh, same reason. Create school. When we fetch the districts, it's now response.data.results. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. So now that we're there, let's keep this like 3 or 4 page limit. We might want to set page size like in a utility or something. Because we use it three, there's three there, and then in our table we're also using three down here. I think those are all the places. Maybe we'll leave it for now, but like that's a lot of replication, and if you like change it and you miss a spot, you're gonna run into issues for sure. So let's just create a constant for it actually. And let's say that export const table page size, and let's just say it's 4. And let's use it in that util, and then we don't need to like worry about passing it down in props because that would be kind of weird. So we can go there, we can go there, and then also in our school table, import that as well, and pass it as our page size. Perfect. All right, and I set it to 4 instead of 3, so now we have a little bit more data. Okay, now that we've done that, let's add some filtering, I think. Actually, so I'm gonna call the video there, actually. That's pretty good. We got the new columns in the table, we fixed our serializers, and we got our pagination working. In the next video, we will get some filtering working, so you can say, show me all the elementary schools, or show me all the schools in this district, or filter by name and stuff like that. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.